Good morning, metalheads of the internet, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Metal Meltdown. Today we are talking about the latest studio album from Black Anvil, entitled Regenesis. This is the fifth studio album, and coincidentally the first released in just about 5 years from this New York black metal crew. I was a big fan of records like Hail Death and As Was when they were released in 2014 and 2017 respectively. Y'all know me, I don't normally get too excited about a more traditional, straightforward kind of black metal record, but there is something about how Black Anvil specifically writes and produces and performs their music that has always excited and intrigued me. I like how they've been able to weave in some more melodic and some more thrashy elements. I like how raw but full-bodied the sound often is. I also really like Black Anvil's attitude. I mean, they really don't care about anything or anyone aside from Black Anvil and making music for Black Anvil as Black Anvil. There's actually a really great Black Anvil interview conducted by Def Sparrow. It's like 9 years old, but I feel like a lot of what Black Anvil says is reasonably relevant still to this day. I feel like it still paints a really good picture as to who this band are, what they're about, what they care about. Saying here, I don't need to make anyone else happy with what this band does. It's not about pleasing the listener. If you are pleased, then great. If not, go fuck yourself. We could easily be carbon copies of other bands, but we still write what we want based on our reaction. Not that we're this original band. To me, we are. In the grand scheme, we're not. I think real recognizes real at the end of the day. Bra fucking vo. None of that, like, we're darker than everyone else pretentious mumbo-jumbo that most black metal bands, or frankly that most metal bands spew when promoting an album. Black Anvil is just like, we make music, we like music, fuck you, done, end of story, where's my coffee, I'm out of here. For all of these reasons, I was pretty pumped by Regenesis, and I'm happy to report I was not really let down whatsoever. This is another great slice of Black Anvil's black metal pizza. It's bleak, miserable, depraved. It has some weirder and some more melodic influences that add a little bit of extra variety and texture and flavor without being too strange, without being too bizarre, too left field. There's more horns and synthesizers across this record for one. There's some more kind of triumphant twin guitar riffery to be found here and there, even some clean vocals. Don't worry, y'all, the band isn't suddenly doing some melodic metalcore shit. I'm using the term clean vocals pretty liberally here. The track Silver Steel has some very dreary, anxious, kind of melancholic vocals that provide a lot of atmosphere and a lot of depth and texture. After a pretty chilling start, it transitions quite smoothly into some more slow-burning, slow-paced kind of blackened heavy metal with some plodding riffs and a lot of gloomy atmospheres, some softer guitar tones, some more anxious, dreary, eerie cleans and yells and such. It actually closes out on a surprisingly bold hook as well, Black Anvil almost embracing like some doom metal and some classic gothic metal on this thing. 8-Bit Terror is another interesting one. I like how it stews on these brutal blackened beatdowns and all these weird chanted vocals and all these screams and all these more epic arrangements and such. It almost kind of feels like something I would hear from modern Behemoth, but with a more classic black metal coat of paint. Then there's New York City Nightmares, which has these throbbing bass lines and some more slower grooves and some kind of weirder, exaggerated vocals and even some samples that are obscured by like noise and chaos, almost as if to emulate the feel of New York itself and its grimy underbelly. The only bit of extra weirdness I don't really find myself appreciating would be the outro on Grant Us His Love. The song itself, still a pretty gnarly black metal rager with some death metal undertones, like there's some pretty hectic percussion and some groovier riffs in the very beginning that almost harken to late 90s Morbid Angel, but the very end of this, I don't know, the brass instrumentation just feels kind of stiff and tacked on. It's a little bit too high school marching band for my liking. I would also say that the darkwave and electronica-driven VV feels a tad unnecessary, but It's also just an interlude, and it's also barely 2 minutes long, so whatever. Everything else here goes pretty hard, not just the stuff we've mentioned, but also the closing number and title track Regenesis, which channels some melodic and atmospheric black metal energies, as well as the Bet and 29, which lean further into some more traditional kind of black metal hellfire and fury with plenty of ripping riffs and plenty of gnarly screams and beats and such. There's also some more epic melodic songwriting interwoven into tracks like Castrum Dolores and Echoes in Tapestry, and even the opening track in 2. The production is lean and sharp. It feels just raw enough while having actual polish to it. Everyone sounds great. There's no fat or filler to speak of whatsoever. All in all, a really great album. Black Anvil took a few risks on this record without getting too stupid, and it all mostly paid off. I'm feeling a 4 out of 5, maybe leaning towards a 3.5 out of 5, but a 4 out of 5 nonetheless. Anyone who loves modern black metal, but maybe not the more artsy-fartsy avant-garde stuff we've heard this year from like Blood Us Nord or Imperial Triumphant, I think is really, really gonna dig this thing. If you're a sucker specifically for the more traditional old-school stuff, and you're looking for a decent-ish gateway into the more modern black metal scene, I think that this would work quite nicely as well. It's great to see Black Anvil experimenting, expanding, evolving without, like, compromising the things that made records like Hail Death and As Was so exciting and intriguing. I very much look forward to seeing how Black Anvil continues to experiment and expand and evolve in the near future. With this record, you know, there's a solid foundation for them to do even weirder and cooler shit, but, you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, or even if. For now, like I said, 4 out of 5, Regenesis. I think it's a great album. I think you should definitely check it out. It's really cool. And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I'm not an expert, nor do I claim to be. So what do you think? Do you like this record? Do you not like this record? And what do you want to hear from me next? And thank you for watching. Make sure you press subscribe right here so you get updates on the Metal Meltdown fucking immediately. And as always, you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.